Hello guys, welcome once again back to the channel. It's Joffy Noodle Legs here today. Today we're doing another rehousing. I am rehousing the M. gigantea, which is the giant vinegaroon. This is the one that's found in mostly like North America, Arizona, or even far down to South America. These environment they can either have a sort of dry, or they can have a sort of bit of a humid sort of environment, a damp one. They are quite versatile, a little bit like your LP in the tarantula world, where they can cope with both, either dry or sort of a damp environment. So we're going to set this one up today. I'm not sure the size of it yet, so I haven't picked my enclosure. So what we're going to need to do is open it. I'm going to put the little baby in here for the second while I can have a look and see what enclosure I want to put it in. So we're going to do that first. So this little bra pack here, we're going to be using this little container here just so I can open it and have a little look at the size of the actual vinegaroon. Once we know the size, we'll know what to put it in. Now, the vinegaroon is also known as the whip scorpion. It's not a true scorpion, and it's not a spider, but it is an arachnid. It does have 8 legs, but it's adapted its front 2 legs to 2 long, like almost antenna-like feelers. They use them to feel themselves around because their eyesight is not particularly brilliant. But so they walk on 6 legs and use the other 2 legs as like feelers. So we're gonna open the lid. Hopefully, he says. Right, we'll open the lid, take the lid off. Oh, there it is, right on the top. It's coming out to have a little look around. So if you can see it. Hello, it's coming out already. So that's helpful. So we can have a look at the size of the actual vinegaroon when it comes out. Let's bring you over so you can see it. I'll just bring it over to you. Oh, sorry, little vinegaroony. It's my fault. There we go. These are non-venomous. They don't have any venom. They're considered quite harmless. The defense mechanism they have is they do have acidic acid, which they can squirt out from the base of their tail, which also looks like a TV aerial or a car aerial, which they can spurt out as a defense mechanism, which if you've got an allergy to could be a problem. But to be honest, you know, I don't think we have any problems. And there it is. Look at that beautiful thing there. Look. Okay, so it's a nice size. I've got 2 environments now that I can choose. It's got the tissue off its foot. I have 2 enclosures which I can choose for it. So what I'm going to do is put this over here. A minute, guys. We've had a little look at it, haven't we? So let me pop this camera back down for a minute. And what we're going to do, we're going to pop the lid on. Keep this baby safe. You can handle these guys, although I particularly won't be handling it because I don't want to stress the animal out if I have to. And I'm just going to move it out of the way for a second while we decide on what enclosure to use. Put it down gently. So I've got the choice of 2 enclosures. I'm thinking the smaller one of the 2. I have a 30 by 30 by 30 Komodo, or I have this, which I believe is a 20 5 circular tarantula room enclosure, and I'm thinking the tarantula room one might be better, just because it's not massive and we can always rehouse it, can't we, at a later date. So let's have a little look. So that's my two choices that I have, and I'm thinking really that could be a little bit too big at the moment, and I think that's going to be probably perfect size for it, to be honest. Right, so we're going to go make a decision, and we're going to go with the tarantula room enclosure, and we can always save this for another time or for a rehousing one of these tarantulas in. This is quite a cool container. It's got a flip lid. I believe it's 24 or 25 circumference circle, so it's not a lot smaller in the sort of capacity than the 30 by 30. I'm just not sure. Let me have a little look at the baby and have a little look, because they like a bit of space because of their two front legs that they use. Let me have a think. Or the 30 by 30. Don't want it getting lost in such a big enclosure. I'm going to put it in the tarantula room for now, and then I'll make a decision from there if to rehouse it at a later date. So make a decision, Joff, and we've made one. So we're going to lose this, and then we're going to set it up. So let's do that now then, shall we? So I've decided to go with this one just because of the size of it at the moment. I don't think it requires such a big enclosure at this moment in time. So I'm going to be using this with a little mixture of substrates again. So I'm going to be making my own sort of like, oh, let me get all the bags ready, my own substrate for it. But the most base of it is going to be is spider life. But I'm going to mix in a bit of eco earth, and I'm going to mix in a bit of play sand as well. So it's got a really good sort of mixture of substrate. So first of all, I'm going to put some play sand in there. I'm going to put some eco earth. And now I'm going to put in some spider life. Let's pop all that in there. These, I believe, I'm not afraid to burrow, so I'm going to give it a nice depth of substrate. But let me mix this bit up first. Again, the sand will help it hold its shape, along with the eco earth, and the spider life will give it that little bit of sort of like, little bit of humidity into the actual substrate. So that's cool. Once again, some sand, some eco earth, and we'll put in some more spider life. I do think spider life is my favourite substrate, to be honest. I just think it's such a versatile sort of substrate, and it always arrives in really good condition, and it's just really, really nice. Every animal I put it on has sort of thrived on it. Had molts on it with no problems. So, you know, I really enjoy this sort of substrate. So again, guys, just going to mix all this through. Going to give that a good old mix. This is quite a nice depth to it. I think it's got a nice deep substrate there. I can pat that down a bit. I think that's quite a nice depth, isn't it? So before we go any further, let's try and decide and design some kind of little things for the baby. Now, I'm not sure what to use. I'm so disorganised, you know, I really am already. Right, let me get up. I've been on my knees to do the substrate. But that's cool. Right, let me have a look at the size of cook box I've got. And things that I require. Like a water bowl. They're going to put a nice little water bowl in there. Hope you guys can see something. Yeah, I thought you were going to be looking at an empty thing. But it's cool. Now, got this one from the spider shop. I'm quite tempted to break it in half. But let me have a little look, see what else I've got first. Because I could create something magical. Oh, Joff, I don't think you could create anything magical, mate. Right, so let me have a little look. So I'm thinking of putting like a cook butt there. Cook butt there. And see if that one will sit across it, up against the back there. Just to create a sort of create my own sort of hide. Or maybe if I turn that around that way. Yep, that looks quite cool. Just creating it my own little hide really. Let's have a little look. A bit more spider life going on at the back here. And down the side. Just to give that an extra. Then it's also got something to clamber on, walk upon, and it looks quite stable. A bit more here. What I want to try and do, you see, is make a hide, but also make it so it can walk upon it. So I'm going to put a bit more on the top here, pat that down. So it's got a hide there. If it wants to burrow, it can. That's quite cool. Put a little water bowl in for him, or her. There we go. But it can reach it. Looking alright so far, if I may say so, Noodle. Put a little bit of a moss down here, shall we? Again, try not to let the moss get in the water. Have a little look, see what else I've got going on here. A little bit more of this moss stuff here. That's it. I might add a little drop of water to that moss there. Just gives it a nice little dampened area there. Not only that, I can squeeze it down a bit better. There we go. So it's got a bit of moss to walk on up there. I'm going to do my little, give it a rockery. As well as I've done with me scorpions. I was going to give it like a little rockery. Again, it's got different things to fill with its like front legs. It's just that little bit of enrichment. You know, giving the scorpion some enrichment in its life, it's got to be good for the animal, isn't it, in the long run? And the enrichment come by the feeling of different textures, the different temperatures, because these will probably be cooler, you know, to touch than the soil. There we go, nice little rockery. I'll put a couple of random ones about. Put a nice one up there. Put 1, 2 round by the water bolt. There we go. Liking that so far. Going to give it some crunched up leaf litter in there. So again, it's got a different texture to feel on its feet, to carry it around if it wants to, and I quite like that. And I think that is pretty much done. So let's take you over so you can have a little look. So it's got a little rockery, and it's got its own noodle hide that I've built it there, so it can go in there and burrow down if it wants to, or it can climb on the top of it and have a walk around. A little bit of moss going on there, and a nice little water bowl. And to be honest, I think that's all the baby really needs. So what we'll do, we'll just put some water in that water bowl. There we go, a little bit of overflow there. Won't do it any harm. And there we go. So the only thing we've really got to do now, guys, is sort of capture the baby up and put it in the enclosure. So let's do that then, shall we? So here we are, we're ready to sort of like move the baby over, and I've taken the lid off this container, and it does really pong of vinegar. So it's been sort of like shooting its little vinegar about, obviously because it's in a position where it's not knowing what's going on. So I've got to try and decide the best way to move the baby over. A part of me wants to just walk it onto my hand to see if it will come onto my hand, and then I can sort of move him over, or her. So I've just got to have the put my hand there in the corner. Like I said, these are harmless. I will not be handling in this spider on a daily basis. This is just to get the baby moved over. If I can get it to walk onto my hand, that would be great. Come on, baby. And then it's going to be easier for me to move it than it will if it's, there we go. And then I can pop the baby down safely into its new environment. There we go, baby, you can let go. There we are. And it's over there. So let's bring you over and give you a little look. And there's the giant vinegaroon in its new house. Absolutely beautiful. It's going to find its hide straight away by the looks of it. Or it might have a little look around. Suss out its environment. It really does. It makes me feel like I want fish and chip tea now. I don't eat fish, but there we go. That's the giant vinegaroon. Aren't they beautiful? Like I said, these are harmless. They don't have any venom, so they don't pose any threat to you. The only threat it could be is like if it squirts acid and you have a rash sort of accident. Sorry about that, guys. My phone died on me. It said it was overheating. I've done a lot of videos today. Anyway, the baby's rehoused, and it's really having the time of its life, having an explore around its new enclosure. Yeah, these are amazing. Really strange looking alien-like creature, aren't they? Because they don't look like a spider. They don't really look too much like a scorpion. Apart from obviously its front pedipalps there, which are very quite like claw-like, but they're not pincer-like as a scorpion's is. And its tail is TV aerial. It's got no stinger, so it's got no venom. They don't have any venom. They are quite harmless to you. So absolutely chuffed to have this in my collection. Absolutely beautiful. So thank you, Spider Shop, for this amazing animal. Absolutely incredible. Look at him having a good old look around. Absolutely stunning. So yeah, that went really well. It went really well. The rehousing. I did handle it, as you saw, but that was just because to try and get it in this container, because of the lid of this is like that, I couldn't get that container in. So the only way to do it, rather than shoving it into another tub and then over again, was to just use my hand. And that is probably the only time I will handle this. Not really into handling me animals, guys, apart from me doggy. So yeah, so that's it. So I'm going to give a shout out to a few YouTubers out there. Obviously Mark the Spider Guy, Spider Mum 1978, Unseen Universe, Unusual Pets, RS Designs, Tea in the Deep Blue Sea. Hey baby, what are you doing, darling? Dave's Little Beasties, Tom's Big Spiders, Scott's Inverts, Robbie's Talking Teas, all great channels. TJ Tarantulas, awesome, really awesome channels there. He's found his water bowl, I think. Yeah. Ooh, what the hell's that? Oh mate, but if you're thirsty, you'll have that. And what I'll be doing, I'll be leaving the baby in here for a day or even more for it to settle in to its enclosure. Look at those funny little things. They're so cute. Absolutely adorable. So it's arrived here fine. Doing well. That's the giant vinegaroon. I don't know if this is going to be its forever home. Because I think this has probably got another molt to two. They don't molt as much as tarantulas do. I think they do it yearly. I think they go into sort of like a sort of hibernation sort of state, and then they will sort of molt out. That's what I believe happens. I could be wrong, but yeah, that's what they do. So it's just discovering its new little environment at the moment. Like the scorpions, it's not going to be able to climb out, so that's all cool. And if it did, I'd rather this running around than a scorpion, to be honest. Look at his TV aerial down there, his car aerial. It does, looks like a car aerial. I might call this CB, because of like the old CB aerials. I'm not sure, I've not got a name for it yet. But yeah, I'm glad it's in my collection. You're not going to get out, baby. There's no way out there, my darling. I do like these tarantula room enclosures. It's got nice ventilation there on the top, and I've actually made a few holes either side of the here and at the other side, just so there's a little bit of cross ventilation going on as well, which will help keep the humidity in. But yeah, happy days. Another unboxing, another happy rehousing. This time the giant vinegaroon. Yeah, please guys, please go and check all those YouTube channels out. They're all amazing. Until next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.